Hey guys, welcome to another collaboration video. Once again, if you didn't see, yeah, this is more so for those who are probably new to these kind of videos. This is my third time doing this with a YouTuber named Caleb. So once again, if you're not familiar with how these collaboration videos work with him and I give you my take on the subject here, and then I provide the link down below in the description, or for those watching on my Facebook page, I'll provide a link somehow, some way, or possibly even the link to Caleb's portion of the video. Um, and so basically, that allows you to see this certain subject matter that we're going to cover here in this video and whatever future videos we do for this collaboration. Um, it allows you the chance to see my take on the subject and Caleb's take on the subject. Just a unique way to for you to see both my videos, his videos. If you're new to my channel, probably Caleb sent you here, or if you're more familiar with my videos, this is a way for you to get more familiar with Caleb. So that way, the two of us, get plenty of viewers. You get to see perspectives and movie reviews because Caleb also reviews some movies that I also review. So that gives you the chance to see his perspective on the film and things like that. Um, but without further ado, let's get to today's subject, which is unmade film adaptations that should happen. So basically, any TV show, any book, any comic book, or any video game, or anything that basically can get turned into a film these days, or even toys, such as the Lego movie or the soon to be Angry Birds movie. So basically, any type of thing that could be turned into a film, whether it's a story of some kind, um, basically anything that hasn't happened yet with those things that have yet to be adapted into a film. We're going to share with you today some of these ideas, at least that we have, that we would like to see be turned into a film adaptation at some point down the road. And some of these, I think, at least I would like to imagine, some of these have been talked about for films already. And who knows, maybe at some point down the road, a future film studio will want to make a film adaptation of one of these things we're going to share with you today. So I'll give you my take, and then Caleb will give you his take on his channel on the subject. So for my first idea of the day, um, there's a very old comic book. In fact, it's considered to be one of the first American comic books, at least one of the first. I'm not saying it's the very, very first one, but one of the first. There's an old comic called Mutt and Jeff. And like I said, it's one of the first comic books in America. It came out way before Superman and Batman and all the other stuff came out. I would like to see a film adaptation about it. I think it's a very interesting comic from what I've seen of comics that were published for it. It seems like a very funny comic. And I would love to see either Kevin Smith, who's well known for Clerks and his very comic book like style and his passion for comic books, since he's also a writer and illustrator for comic books as well. I would like to see either Kevin Smith take on this film for a film adaptation, or Terry Zwigoff, who has done Ghost World and the film Crumb, which is a documentary about Robert Crumb, who is also a comic book illustrator. I would like to see either Kevin Smith or Terry Zwigoff, if I can pronounce his name right, take on a film adaptation of Mutt and Jeff. That way, people can see what this comic book is like, see what a live action take on this comic is like. It would just be kind of a nice throwback and a nice little, almost like a nice homage to the comic book art form itself, since it is considered to be one of the first American comic books. And it seems comedic enough and fun enough that either Kevin Smith or Terry Zwigoff could make a fun film adaptation about that comic book. The next one is a TV show called Ed, Edd n Eddy. Some of you might be familiar with it. It was a show on Cartoon Network. They still show reruns every once in a while, but I don't think they show new episodes for it anymore. I would love to see either Judd Apatow, who's well known for 40-Year-Old Virgin or Knocked Up, or Michelle Gondry, who's known for The Green Hornet and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and he's also done Be Kind, Rewind with Jack Black. One of those two directors I think would make a very interesting take on Ed, Edd n Eddy. Judd Apatow would probably have to tone down his dirty content because I know he's well known for improvising and making really dirty comedic moments in his films. So I think it'd be a nice challenge for him because it'd be a kid's movie pretty much, or at least a kid family movie. And it would kind of teach him, and kind of be a good challenge for him to make a comedic film that, kind of had limits to how dirty or how clean it could get with the humor. And Ed, Edd n Eddy had a very selective kind of humor, so I think it'd be a very, once again, it would just be a nice challenge for him. I think it'd be a very interesting kind of film, specifically if he can get those kind of improv moments appropriately in there. I think that'd be kind of cool too. Um, and with Michel Gondry, he has a very creative sense of filmmaking. He has had kind of like a high school project kind of vibe to his movies. Like there's pencils and paper, and people coloring things with markers. And for those who saw Green Hornet, whenever he was thinking to himself, putting the pieces together, for those who saw that film, it kind of that vibe to his movies. I think that would work great for Ed, Edd n Eddy, since these guys are always trying to come up with things to earn money to get jawbreakers at the candy store. So once again, Michel Gondry could be a good choice for a film like that. Then we got my other idea today is Dexter's Laboratory. Once again, another great TV show that was on Cartoon Network, which does have reruns every once in a while. No new episodes, I don't think, for it, though, for a while. I would like to see Robert Zemeckis, who's known for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as well as Forrest Gump and Castaway, and a bunch of Back to the Future. He's well known for a lot of really creative projects. I think he would master a Dexter's Laboratory film because it has to be really creative, really smart, have a good script, have a good cast of characters. Um, I would assume the costume design would be pretty unique for it, since Dexter is always creating these really abstract things in his laboratory. And if Mandark was in the film, they would have to do the same thing with him as well. Um, yeah, Robert Zemeckis, I think, would make a terrific Dexter's Laboratory film, specifically if he can find a way to make the science really smart and fun in it. I think it'd be a really fun time. And I want to bring up Michel Gondry once again, because Dexter's Laboratory is so abstract. He does take on these mini projects that either help out with his personal life or with another character that he's working with in the film in the each episode and things like that. Almost every episode, he had a unique reason to create an experiment or a creation of some kind in his secret laboratory. I think Michel Gondry would have that a very neat and effective vibe for that if he were to direct a film adaptation of Dexter's Laboratory. The next one is another TV show. This one was actually on the channel Nickelodeon. Who did they have the Rugrats and SpongeBob SquarePants and a bunch of other popular stuff on their channel. It'd be for the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark was kind of like Goosebumps and Creep Show for TV kind of thing. A little bit like The Twilight Zone also. It was shown on Nickelodeon. It was kind of a horror anthology show for kids. And I think either James Wan or Ty West could do a really good Are You Afraid of the Dark film adaptation. James Wan would obviously have to really tone down his filmmaking style, because for those who saw The Conjuring or Insidious, he has a very creepy way of making films. But kind of like with Judd Apatow with Ed, Edd n Eddy, if he could just find a way to tone it down a little bit, find a way for it to work with kids, but still make it, effectively creepy for a horror film. I think James Wan could make a terrific Are You Afraid of the Dark kind of film, specifically if he can create his own stories for it, since Are You Afraid of the Dark was more so, these kids getting together for the campfire at this forest somewhere, telling these really scary stories. So if James Wan could even be allowed to make his own stories for those campfire stories, I think it'd be really cool. Same goes for Ty West. Ty West has done like The Innkeepers and The House of the Devil, a lot of independent horror films. Once again, if he toned down his style, still found a way to make it pretty creepy, but fun for the kids nonetheless. Either director, I think, could make a terrific Are You Afraid of the Dark film adaptation. Then my last idea, since I only have about 5 ideas to pitch for this video, is Sonic the Hedgehog. If they made a live action film for it, because I do think they made an animated film at one point, but if they made a live action film, with real people running around and live action like a Sonic character and a live action Knuckles and Tails and things like that. I think either Matthew Vaughn or Brad Bird could really do a live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie and really make it a lot of fun, specifically if it's like a summer blockbuster kind of film. With Matthew Vaughn, I immediately think of X-Men First Class, because think of that blue used for Beast, but used for a CGI Sonic, and imagine like you know how we were reintroduced to all the mutants. I think Matthew Vaughn would have a fun way to introduce all of the Sonic characters to us, or at least the characters he would want to use for a live action film. Be able to work that story in with some human characters. Be able to ground it in reality a little bit. I think Matthew Vaughn would have with him with his kick-ass experience and his X-Men First Class experience, and I know he has the Secret Service coming out later this year. I think he'd be a really fun director to um, asked to make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie before. And then with Brad Bird, he's done The Incredibles and Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol. And he has a lot of Iron Giant as well. He has a very fun vibe to his films. I think that would really work well for a Sonic film. He's also very creative. So, kind of like Matthew Vaughn, I think he could find a really creative way to work Sonic and all these other characters into reality in a unique way. And I think Brad Bird would once again be a good alternative choice for directing a Sonic the Hedgehog live action film. And it would be really fun to see a really famous Sega video game character brought to life, since Sega really, besides House of the Dead, they really haven't had a lot of their games adapted into films yet. I think it's time that a Sonic the Hedgehog film finally gets made in live action. So that's my take on the subject, you guys. I'm going to once again leave Caleb's take on the subject down below. For those watching on Facebook, I hope to provide a link to his video either before or after I post this video of mine. And yeah, so I hope you guys, if Caleb brought you here to my video, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you check out the rest of my content to come and my content that I posted in the past here on my YouTube channel. And for those who are hoping to watch Caleb's video, I hope you do watch more of his stuff. He's very good here on YouTube. And him and I hope to post more of these collaboration videos here soon. And yeah, I hope you guys check out Caleb's take on this subject as well.